Hi everyone, welcome to Art with Miss Lynn. So spring is here, the weather's getting warmer and nicer. So today I'm going to show you how to draw a spring picture with a 1-point perspective. So we're going to need color pencil or crayon and markers, or if you prefer paint, you can definitely do that. Let's start with the background. Very simple. We're going to start with a line across the middle, the horizon line. When we're drawing a landscape, we want to separate the sky and the ground. So just quickly draw a line across the paper. You could decide how much of the sky you want to show and how much of the ground you want to show. But since we are going to sketch a drawing of a 1-point perspective with trees, kind of like walking down a pathway in the park. You see a lot of like beautiful trees with some flowers because it's springtime, flowers are blooming, right? So we start with the line, and then we're going to make a point in the middle, and this point is going to be the vanishing point. That means things are going to be kind of vanishing when it's going toward that point. And I want to draw a path very quickly. It could be just a regular path, and this time I'm going to start from the point and then spread it out, kind of like a triangle, like this. So you can see this is the path or the road that leading like to the further distance and disappear. And sometimes you don't have to make it go toward that point. You could maybe have it just kind of end somewhere here, right? So it doesn't have to be pointy, but there's a vanishing point that's a little bit further down here. If you do make the point a little bit higher, all right? So just slightly sketch it like that. Now, for this quick drawing, if you're using paint, then you have to paint the background and then let it dry before you paint the trees. But if we're just drawing with the coloring materials like color pencil or crayon, we want to make the background, fill it in, choose the color for the sky, and so I use yellow for a warm sky, and then just like a soft green for the ground. And this one I did not draw the path, but I could do that right now, and I can change the color of the path in a little bit, so then it looks like the grass is on the side, and then this is a paved road or another kind of concrete road. So I could change the color in a little bit. So I draw this out, and then remember there's a point that's the vanishing point that's somewhere over here where the path is leading to. So the next thing is to start sketching some trees. So since I use color pencil for my background, I'm going to use the marker to sketch out my trees. And you want the trees to be in a perspective. That means it's going toward like that 1 point, right? So things that are further away, they are smaller. And if you want to draw the tree, we can start from the tree that's like a little further away, that's closer to the point. You can start with just a simple straight line, or make the tree trunk, right? And then some tree branches like that. You can have a smaller one that is even further away. Now notice when I draw the trees, I'm going along this slanted line on the left side, and then the trees gets a little bit taller and taller, right? So if I sketch this out very lightly, the point is somewhere over here. There's another line that I could use. If I draw this line spread out like that, right? It's very light. I spread out this, so it's kind of like an X. And then I use the markers to draw the tree trunks within this space, right? So like this, and kind of line it up, right? Tree branches, tree trunk. So the next tree, it gets a little bit bigger and taller, right? And I can just sketch out some of the tree branches sticking out, kind of like letter Y or the letter V, so they're all kind of spread out. So on this side, make mine even taller and bigger. And the tree trunks doesn't have to be straight. If you want to match both sides, like the tree they're lining up, you can surely do that. So my next one on this side is going to be here. And definitely can overlap the tree branches, right? And also you can decide how tall the tree could be. It doesn't have to be super tall like this one. If you are using crayon to sketch the background, I would not suggest using marker on top of it because that might dry out the marker. My background is done with color pencil, so it won't dry out the marker. If you use crayon, then maybe you can just draw with the crayon also. If you color the background with crayon, you can sketch the trees also with the crayon. Or if you're painting, you paint the background first. The sky could be like a warm yellow like this, or blue, right? Like a sunny sky blue, sunny day. So tree trunk here. And then I could do one more on this side. So as you can see, we're drawing it bigger and bigger. So my tree is pretty straight. I can do another split here. Doesn't have to be straight, right? But the tree trunks and tree branches should be kind of growing up, so it's spreading outwards in the vertical direction. Alright, so split this out. And I think I can do one more over here. This one is kind of off the paper. Let's do some overlapping. It's okay, we go off the page. You don't have to restrict the artwork within the page. It's more interesting if you spread it out, right? So now I have all these tree trunks, and you can see we use the 1-point perspective to help us sketch out the line, to line up the trees. This way it looks really nice and kind of in order. Now I'm going to use pink and just kind of start adding some pink flowers on the tree. And I'm using stippling to do that, so you just tap, tap, tap. Now your trees can be also like green, right? It doesn't have to be like flowers. You can have some different kinds of green leaves coming out. If you're using paint, this is very easy and fast, so you just kind of dab and the brushes will cover more space at once. So I'm using stippling again like this. Now, when it gets closer, the things are a little bit bigger, so I could maybe fill up the space a little bit more. And using bigger shapes, so more like circles, like that. And if you are not using marker, again, crayon would be nice to use right now. Now that I finished with the marker, and I'm not going to draw with the marker again, then I can use the crayon, right? So I'll show you that in a little bit. So right now I have this side that is colored in with markers. You can definitely add more trees in the background. Now on this side, let's try to use the crayon instead. Okay. So with the crayon, it could be a little bit faster. You do some dabbing, stippling again. Crayon covers a little bit more, so you can do some circular motion marks like how I did these, right? So remember, the things that are far away, they're a little bit smaller. As it gets closer, things are getting bigger because we see them larger in life, right? So over here, I'm just going to cover a lot of areas with the crayon. So you can see the two different marks that it's making, right? And then think of other details that you want to add after we finish the tree. For example, the path, and if you're going to add some grass on the ground. Okay, so some of these flowers are off the page. Maybe some of them are on the floor. Maybe they are falling down, like that. Let me cover this part a little bit more. It looks a little bit empty, but you can definitely add more trees or other details in the background. Now, for the ground, I could either add some detail like grass, taller grass in the front. You can definitely add some flowers also, right? So in the spring, a lot of daffodils, like the yellow flowers on the side of the road. At least when near me, I see a lot of those. Or some tulips, right? All kinds of flowers. So smaller dots when it's further away, closer to the point. Bigger, taller grass when it's closer to us, which is the bottom of the page. Right? So you can do that. Maybe some flowers. And then again, if I want to cover this road, I could use brown or gray. Or if you want to turn this into a river, you can use blue, right? So I'm going to softly color in with brown. And you can add people walking on it too, right? If you feel like adding more detail, right? Or animal, whatever subject you want to add to complete your drawing. So here's the path. You can also turn it into more interesting paved road or with the pebble stones. So I like this kind of path, using ovals. And this will create a little bit more texture also. But that would get a lot smaller when it's further away, right? So you just see little dots. That's closer to the vanishing point. Bigger ovals when it's closer to a U. Medium oval in the middle. And you can add animals. If you want to add some birds, I could hear some birds chirping outside my window right now. Right. But basically, this is how we create the one-point perspective drawing of a spring parkway, I guess. And then finishing it with some details. So I hope you have fun making yours. See you next time. Bye.